You guys, if the question asks you to calculate rates of tax, you need to calculate depending upon the person to whom you are calculating the tax. Okay, how many persons are there?
7.
What are those?
Individual, firm, local authority, company, agency.
Yeah, this is the first category. There are around 5. Okay, for the first category of persons. Okay, do you want me to open the textbook material, especially in the individual case? Okay. I think I left the additional conditions.
Only basic condition is.
I did only the basic condition, not the additional condition and exceptions I have not done.
Exceptions of second condition is also done, sir.
Done. Only the additional conditions left, no? Sorry. Then I will continue that one. So that once I complete, it's only a very simple one. Once you know the basic condition, I'm extremely sorry. I thought I completed. Okay. For the benefit of all the students, in case of an individual, there are 2 conditions to be tested. One is the basic condition and another one is the additional condition. There are 2 basic conditions, out of which if an individual who satisfies any one or both of the basic conditions, he becomes non-resident. If an individual who doesn't satisfy any of the basic conditions, he or she will become non-resident. Okay. Once the individual becomes resident, we have to test the additional conditions to be categorized as not ordinarily resident and ordinarily resident. Now the question arises, what is the significance of identifying a individual resident as ordinary and not ordinarily resident? In case of an ordinarily resident individual, his global income is taxable. Global income means whatever the income individual earns in India, as well as whatever the income he earns outside India, is also taxable in his hands in India. I've given here. If you guys observe this one, global income. Okay, entire world income of his is taxable. Resident but not ordinarily resident individual, of course he is taxable on Indian income. Indian income means any income which accrues or arise in India or deemed to accrue or arise in India is taxable. Along with that, any business set up outside India, the control and management is from India. On that income also, the resident but not ordinarily resident is taxable. Example, assume that you have passed your company secretary, you start your practice in India, in Bangalore, and you will set up the office in Australia and US to cater the needs of the US citizens and Australian citizens. I mean to say the companies or any other clients over there. And you will not go to US, you will not go to Australia also. You will just set up one office. One assistant will be sitting there. Just he takes the client's detail and everything else will be done by you sitting in India. and the fees will be received by that person in the bank account with the respective countries. In the respective countries, whatever the bank account you have opened, it will be received or credited there. But all the things control will happen from India. In that case, your foreign income is also taxable if the control is happening from India, though you are not ordinarily resident. I will tell you who are not ordinary resident. Before that, I am just giving the overview of the scope of his income. Okay. Next comes non-resident. Non-resident is taxable only on the income which is received or deemed to be received in India or accrued or arise in India. Only the Indian source income on which he is liable to pay tax. These are the scope of residential status. Now the question arises, who is ordinarily resident and who is not ordinarily resident? Any individual who is a resident, who satisfies both the additional condition. Which condition? How many conditions? Both the additional conditions. He becomes ordinarily resident. If an individual resident who doesn't satisfy both the additional condition, or he satisfy any one of the additional conditions, he becomes not ordinarily resident. Can you guys repeat what I told?
The recipient is the one who satisfies any one or both of the basic conditions and both of additional conditions.
He becomes ordinarily resident. Okay? Ordinarily resident. If one or none of the additional condition, he becomes not ordinarily resident. Okay? Any one basic condition, resident. Both the additional condition, ordinarily resident. Any one or none of the additional condition, not ordinarily resident. None of the basic condition, non-resident. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, what are those additional conditions? An individual has been resident. Resident means what? You need to test the basic conditions for all 10 years. Both the basic conditions. You have to test for all the 10 years. If he satisfies any 2 or more previous years the resident condition, he will satisfy the first additional condition. Example, our previous year is 22-23. Okay, 10 previous years, 21, 22, 20, 21, like that 10 previous year. I am just taking the example. 10 previous years. Understood? 10 years. These 10 years. You have to test for these 10 years. Basic conditions 1 and 2 both. What is first basic condition says? What is the first
Stayed in India during the previous year for a period of 182 days and more.
First basic condition says if an individual stays in India in these previous years, in all the 10 previous years, if you are testing, in each previous year, you should see whether he has stayed in India for a period of 182 days. Okay, assume that you are testing for this year. He stays in India for 160 days in this year. First basic condition he doesn't satisfy. Now you have to come to the second basic condition. Stay in India for a period of 60 days or more. Yes, because he has stayed in India for 160 days, he satisfies 60 days. And you have to see the next 4 years, has he satisfied a stay in India for a period of 365 days? If yes, he satisfies first year, 1 year, the additional condition. Next, you have to go to this year. You have to see, assume that he stayed in India for a period of only 25 days here. He doesn't satisfy the first basic condition. And second basic condition, 60 days, no. 60 days, no. He doesn't satisfy the second basic condition. Likewise, you have to test for all the 10 previous years. If any one of the, in any 2 of the previous years, if he satisfies any one or both the basic conditions, then he satisfies first additional condition. Understood?
So out of 10 preceding
Out of 10 preceding previous years, 2 previous year he should be resident.
Okay.
Resident means first basic condition and second basic condition you have to test for all 10 years.
Okay.
Only 10 years. Assume that you are testing for the 9th year. Okay, just I am taking the abrupt this one year. Don't consider it as 12, 13. I am just taking. Okay, 12, 13 I am taking. Don't know why I am not getting. Okay, assume that, leave it 12, 13. Okay. In this year you want to test. First in this year you have to see first basic condition, 182 days or more. If he satisfies this one, no need to test the second basic condition. Okay, assume that he doesn't satisfy 182 days, 120 days only. Next you have to see the 4 years, because only 10 years you have to see. You cannot see the 11th year, 12th year, 13th year, 14th year, whether he has stayed. If information will also be not given, if at all, if it is given, see that up to 10th year. I mean to say, for 10 year you have to consider this one. Information 100% it will not be there. If there is no such information for the 9th year, if only 10th year information is there, only test that year, then take a call, has he satisfied or not. If he doesn't satisfy, put the answer, he doesn't satisfy the residential basic condition for the 9th year, hence he is a non-resident. If information is available for these years, you have to test, otherwise no need. Are you guys understanding now? You have to test for 10 years. Let me repeat once again. You have to test the residential status for the basic condition for the 10 years. Assume that for the 9th year, in these years, 2 to 8, he doesn't satisfy any of the additional basic conditions. Only the first year he satisfies, and your 9th year you are testing. In the 9th year he stays only 120 days. That means first basic condition he doesn't satisfy. Second basic condition, 60 days or more, yes, he satisfies here. 365 days or more during the 4 preceding years. In these 4 years, 10, 11, 12, 13, if the data is available, information is available, you have to see. If there is no data, then you have to see only for the 10th year. In the 10th year, if 365 days he satisfies, he is resident, he satisfies the first basic condition also, second basic condition also, then he satisfies 2 years being a resident in India, he becomes not ordinarily resident as of now, assuming that he doesn't satisfy the second additional condition. Since we haven't seen the second additional condition, hence I am putting it as not ordinarily resident. Understood? Don't put, I'm just only for this, up to this point I am making him as not ordinarily resident. Once we test the second additional condition also, if he satisfies, he becomes ordinarily resident, otherwise he becomes not ordinarily resident. I mean to say how to test the additional condition, first additional condition, taking the 10-year figures. You have to test for each year, both basic condition 1 and basic condition 2, both you have to test. Assume that in these 2 years only, if he satisfies any one of the basic condition, then don't test for the remaining years. Why? It is irrelevant because he has already satisfies 2 years being a resident. That means he satisfies the first additional condition. Don't keep testing for all the 10 years. Only when you have to test when he doesn't satisfy in the first few years, then you have to test for all the years. If he satisfies first 2 years only or first 3 years only, no need to go further.
Sir,
Understanding?
sir, can he be non-ordinarily resident, sir?
Who?
Now we are checking, right, sir? It should be an ordinary resident or it can be or non-ordinary resident, sir.
See, if the individual who satisfies both the additional condition ordinarily, if any one additional condition or none of the additional condition, not ordinarily.
Okay, sir.
This is first additional condition. First additional condition, this one. What is this? He should be resident in 2 previous years out of 10 preceding previous year. 10 preceding previous year means our previous year leaving prior to that 10. This one we already tested for the basic condition, no. Leaving that, we have to test for the next 10 years. If the data is only for 6 years, you have to test for the 6 years. Then you have to you have to write the answer, 7, 8, 9 years data is not available. Hence, whatever the residential, the condition who satisfies, based on that condition you have to write the answer whether he satisfies the first basic addition condition or not. You cannot say that 7, 8, 9, 10 years data is not available. We cannot able to test. Assuming that he is not in India in 7, 8, 9 years. Understanding? This is the first basic condition. Second additional condition, he should be in India for a period of 730 days or more during 7 preceding previous years. How many years? 7 should be in India for a period of 730 days or more. 7 preceding previous years means what? Our previous year is 22-23, 21-22, 20-21, 19-20, 18-19, 17-18, 18-17. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 15, 16. In these 7 years, his stay should be 730 days or more. Okay, assume 140 days here he stays, 200 days he stays here, 10 days he stays here, 25 days he stays here, 60 days he stays here, 100 days he stays here, 25 days he stays here. How many days it comes? 560 days. He doesn't satisfy second additional condition. If he doesn't satisfy the first basic condition, addition condition, or he satisfies the first, he doesn't satisfy the second, he becomes NOR. Understanding? Okay, I will just write 8, 9, 10, 14, 15, 13, 14, 12. Just I will give the okay. Assume that he stays in India for a period of 120 days. 120 days in 22-23. Please tell me basic condition has it satisfied? Basic condition.
No.
Basic condition 1 has it satisfied? Basic condition 1.
No, sir. No, sir.
No. How? 182 days.
2 days.
Less than 182 days. Not satisfied. Second basic condition.
He satisfies, sir. He stayed for
60 days or more. 60 days or more. Yes. And 365 days here. Here it is 375 days coming. He satisfies second basic condition. Now we have to test additional condition. Whether he satisfies both the additional condition or any one or none of the additional condition. Okay. First basic additional condition. What it says? 2 previous years out of 10 he should be resident. Okay. Now we have to start from this. First basic condition 182 days has he satisfies?
No. No, sir.
1 second. First basic condition to test the addition condition. Basic condition 1, basic condition 2. I will. Whether has he satisfied first basic condition? No.
No.
Second basic condition 60 days. Yes. 60 days. Yes. Out of this one, he satisfies second basic condition. Right? For this year, he doesn't satisfy the first basic condition. He satisfies the second basic condition. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For next year, has he satisfied the first basic condition?
Yes.
Yes. Then he satisfies first additional condition. have to see whether he satisfies the second additional condition. How much? 730 days out of 7 years till here. As he satisfies, it is coming 560. He doesn't satisfy second additional condition. Hence, he becomes NOR. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Assume here it comes 360 days. I'm just changing this. With 60, 300 days I added. Out of 7 days, 7, he satisfies second addition condition also. The total is coming 860. 860 days. This total 860 days. Has it satisfies the second addition condition of being 730 days or more?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Then he becomes
Ordinary resident.
OR. Understanding right? Calculation part?
Yes, sir.
You guys have to apply depending on the dates and the year. Always our year starts on 1st April. Malini, for your reference, ends on 31st March.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Don't go by with my spellings. At times I will make a mess. 1st April to 31st March is our year. In which year he falls between that? You have to mention it in this way. 21, 22 means 1st April 21 to 31st March 22. During these periods, you have to take the years, 7 years, how it comes, how it should be populated, 10 years, how it should be populated. You guys have to write it in the answer paper. Then write the number of days in the respective years against respective years. Then start doing the calculation. Don't do the calculation in calculator and write the answer. It hardly takes extra 1 or 2 minutes. It is better to invest 2 minutes to gain minimum 6 to 8 marks. Understood? Okay. Shall I go to next topic? Is there any confusion?
No, sir.
Next, tax rates. Tax rate. I was opening this one, right? What is the scope of income of this war, NOR, NR? Scope, I mean, what are all the income is taxable? What are all the income is taxable and from war, NOR, NR?
Or global income.
Global.
For NOR,
India plus foreign income controlled and management from India. Okay, this is Indian income. You will get the question on this also. Okay. Few basics I will tell you, and I will solve one or two problems also. Okay. Agriculture income. agricultural income. If it is from India, that means you have that land is in India, agricultural land, it becomes exempt. It becomes exempt in all the three hands. It is not at all taxable. If the land is in India and you are getting the income from that land by way of agriculture, through agriculture, if you are getting any income, if the land is situated in India, the income fully exempt. Okay? Huh. If it is from India, I mean to say the land is situated in India is exempt. What is the other side of the coin?
Land situated in some foreign country.
Foreign, it is taxable. Understanding? Agricultural income from the land, agricultural land in India is exempt in all the hands. Non-resident, resident, ordinarily, and not ordinarily. In the three residents, in case of three individuals, it is exempt. If the same agricultural income from the land, from the agricultural income from foreign agriculture, it is taxable. Now the question arises, under whose hand it is taxable? Is it taxable in the hands of non-resident? Agricultural land in agricultural income from foreign source?
No, sir.
It is not taxable. Why?
Because under non-resident, only the income accrued or arise in India will be
India.
taxable.
It is from foreign country. It is not taxable in case of non-resident. In case of NOR, if it is managing the business, if it is business is managing, you guys might have heard the Tata Estate, Tata Tea, which is the famous brand, Cafe Coffee Day. Have you guys heard?
Yes.
They will be having the what do you call, the outlets all over India also, no? What is their main business? Cafe Coffee Day.
Coffee bean.
Coffee powder, coffee, sale of coffees, right? How the coffee will be sold? Coffee ಹೆಂಗೆ ಮಾಡೋದು?
Beans, coffee beans.
Coffee beans means coffee seeds. Okay? Assume that they have the estate at New Zealand. They have the estate at New Zealand, coffee estate. That estate is controlled in India, from India. Whatever the income they earn from that estate, that means when they grow there, it has to come to India, no? It will not come without any amount mentioned. It has to be some value. That value will be taxable in case of NOR. In case of war,
It is taxable.
it is taxable. Why? Global income taxable. Understood? Okay. Let us see. See, you guys can able to see, right? From
Yes.
from the following particulars of income furnished by Mr. Anirudh pertaining to the year ended 31/3/2003, compute the total income. Total income means income from all the heads is called as total income. Don't bother. You have to just tell which income is taxable under whose hand. You have to tell that one. That's it. Only for the time being. Once we complete all the sources, I mean to say all the heads, this total income we will get to know. As of now, don't bother. For the assessment year 23-24, if his war, NWAR, NR. Understood? This is the problem. Short-term capital gain on sale of shares of an Indian company. Indian company, you had a share. You sold that one. That gain, I mean to say the profits you have received in Germany. In whose hand it is taxable? 15,000.
Resident.
Resident. What else? Excuse me, I may not be knowing your voices. Please tell me your name when you are answering at least. Okay?
Okay, sir.
For all, it's not that only the Kusmar, Malini, Gahana like that. Please, I want each one of you to interact because it's the law subject. The more you interact, the more information you get. It becomes easy. Is it only in the hands of resident it is taxable, or or all three?
All three, sir, because it is accrued in India.
How accrued in India? It is Indian company share. Okay? That means it is taxable in the hands of all three. You sold it here only, but you received the amount in Germany. It is taxable in all three. Next, dividend from a Japanese company received in Japan. Dividend, Japan company paid the dividend and you received in Japan only.
Only resident is taxable, sir.
Why?
It comes under global income.
Global income. Only resident is taxable. Okay. Non-resident, it is not Indian source. It is not accrued in India. And in case of NWAR, it is not managed in India, managed through India. Okay. Taxable only in the hands of resident. Rent from property in London. You have a property in London from which you have got the rent deposited in a bank in London only. Later on, that deposit amount has been remitted to India through approved channel. That means whenever you are transferring into India, you have to take the permission of the RBI. That we will not get into that. Approved channels, I mean to say through banking channels only you have done. You have to tell whether this 75,000, assume that entire rent is taxable. Okay. Until the house property is done, we may not be knowing how much is taxable. Assume that it is entire income is taxable. In whose hand it is taxable?
Resident.
Okay. Only resident?
So even NOR, right?
Why?
Because it's still accruing to him outside India, and he's still getting it out of.
As he managing that business through India? It is not the business.
So can you show me the question once again? So, but it's still remitted to India. So it's received, it's income received.
See, when it comes to remitted, only the first time when it accrues, assume that rent from London, if it is directly remitted to India, then it would have been taxable in the hands of all three. Okay, you have deposited there. Assume that you have a property in London and you stays in London only. Your parents stays in India. You received the rent in London. After receiving that one, you will transfer to your father's account or mother's account in India. It is not in the form of rent. You are just remitting that, or your account only in India. It is not taxable in the hands of NOR or NR. It is only taxable in the hands of WAR resident. Okay, all three are taxable in the hands of WAR. First one only is taxable in the hands of all three. Next, dividend from RP Limited, an Indian company.
So can you just to clarify, so if it's from the primary itself, then it will
Yes.
not. Okay.
No.
So it's a
If
secondary. It will be.
primary, it is taxable in the hands of all three.
Okay, so since it's a secondary one,
Secondary one means the income accrues there, received there itself.
okay.
You are just transferring that amount. That is not the income.
Yeah. Okay.
Transferring the amount from US to your account in Bangalore, it is not an income.
Okay.
Okay, that's the provision or logic we need to apply. Next, dividend from RP Limited, an Indian company.
It is taxable under all three.
All three. Why?
It is
Because
accrued
it is accrued or arising from India. Agricultural land in Gujarat.
It's not taxable under all three, sir.
Why?
Income received from land situated in India is not taxable.
Income received, no, agricultural income from the land in India is not taxable. Are you guys seeing the answer? Yes.
Here in the table, under agricultural income, it is under resident. It is showing as 25,000.
No. Sorry, it is not. It is not taxable. Even it is not taxable in his hands. I just copied 1,06,000. Are you guys understanding right? Ramesh and Suresh are brothers and they earned the following incomes during the financial year 22-23. Mr. Ramesh settled in Canada in the year 1996. Ramesh is settled in Canada and Suresh settled in Delhi. That means Ramesh is non-resident, Suresh is resident. Right? Ramesh settled in Canada in the year 1996. That means he is in Canada only. That means he becomes resident, non-resident, no? He doesn't satisfy any of the basic conditions.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Suresh settled in Delhi. He satisfies both the basic condition. and he satisfies both the additional condition also. 2 years, 730 days, everything he satisfies. Hence, he ordinarily resident. Okay. Compute the total income for the year 23-24. Assessment year 23-24. We have to compute the income. Okay. See. Interest on Canada development bonds. Interest. Only 50% of interest is received in India. 50% is received in India. Another 50% received in Canada only. In whose hands it is taxable? If it is yes, how much is taxable under whose hands? Is it taxable in the hands of both?
It is taxable in the hands of Suresh,
Why?
the entire amount,
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Global income. How much?
entire amount, sir.
Okay. Then what about Ramesh?
Ramesh thought
So,
for 50% of interest,
How much?
17.5.
17,500.
In the hands of Ramesh, 17.5 is taxable. In the hands of Suresh, entire 40,000 is taxable. They are saying that received. It is not remitted. There is a difference, no? Received and remit.
Yes, sir.
Okay. 17.5 is taxable in the hands of Ramesh. 40,000 is taxable in the hands of Suresh. Being a resident, global income is taxable. Being a non-resident, whatever it accrues or arise in India or deemed to accrue or arise in India or received in India is taxable in the hands of non-resident. Okay. Next, dividend from British company received in London.
Only taxable for Suresh, entire 20,000.
Okay. What about 28?
It is not taxable, sir. It is neither accrued in India or arise in India.
Arise in India. Since he is a non-resident, it is not taxable in the hands of Ramesh. Okay. Next, profits from a business in Nagpur, but managed directly from London. In Nagpur, you have a business. I mean, Ramesh and Suresh has a business in Nagpur, but it is managed through London.
It is taxable for both Ramesh and Suresh.
Both. Why? Because it is accrued in India. It is taxable under both the hands. Short-term capital gain on sale of shares of an Indian company received in India.
Taxable for both Ramesh and
Both
Suresh.
Ramesh and Suresh taxable. Interest on savings bank deposit in UCO Bank, Delhi. Interest.
It is for sure it will be taxable for Suresh.
Where it is accruing.
India. So
Both
even
hands
for
it is
Ramesh.
taxable. Agricultural land situated in Andhra Pradesh.
It is not taxable for both.
Both not taxable. 17.5, 40,000. Dividend from British company received in London in the hands of resident taxable. Nagpur business in the hands of both it is taxable. Short-term capital gain it is taxable in the both hands because in India interest it is taxable both hands. Agricultural land it is not taxable. Are you guys understanding right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Easy, confusing. How will you assess?
It's understandable, sir.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Okay, there is not much difficulty. Only thing you have to apply the provisions and in whose hands which income is taxable. That's it. Okay. Next, residential status also we have completed. Uh, shall I take 5 minutes break once we start? When we start the next session, the tax. Okay, because it's little first few things